Today I have assembled two very interesting teams. Today, as usual, we are starting for the best team for the upcoming game week, and that's the team for game week 9. I don't have any regulations apart from only 3 players from each team can be in this team, and it must be below 100 million. In goal, I am opting for Turner. He is having a home fixture against Luton, and I cannot look another way to find the best goalkeeper for this game week because he is playing really well, especially at home. They're keeping a low expected goals during most of the games, and they have played against the best oppositions so far. Luton is not a team that is a pretty dangerous team away from home, so I believe that Nottingham will keep a clean sheet here. I've already played Turner against a newly promoted side in game week 2, and it wasn't of a very big luck, but I believe that this goal was amazing to say, and it's not going to be repeated. And for me, for game week 9, Nottingham Forest have the easiest fixture, especially defensively. They may not be amazing offensively, but defensively they are pretty alright. There are some other fixtures such as Manchester United away to Sheffield, or it was Crystal Palace away to Newcastle, the Newcastle goalkeeper, but I believe that Nottingham will have the easiest fixtures, and Bleken, Pope, and Onana are not making the squad. First of all, Turner is having the easier fixture, and second, he's way cheaper. And for a 1 week off, you can just buy Turner and then keep him on the bench if you prefer to make the just transfer for 1 game week and swap your goalkeeper. But if you are doing this game week by game week, I believe Turner is the right choice goalkeeper for your team. My defense is built up from 3 players, and they're from 2 teams. First of all, I'm not going for another Nottingham Forest defender because I don't believe that they're so good defensively that I should double up on them for the best team. I believe that defenders from Newcastle against Crystal Palace are going to be very popular. Burn, Trippier and Schär are the 3 defenders that are on my radar because Botman is due to return, but it's not confirmed, so I'm still believing in Trippier to be the best defender attacking wise. So if you have the money, go for Trippier. A home fixture against Crystal Palace. This smells like a lot of attacking returns for him. Burn is here for the clean sheet, let's be honest. I couldn't find a more suitable defender. I've got Udogie for a home fixture against Fulham, and I believe that wraps up the best defenders for that game week. Maybe a player from Liverpool, but they are quite expensive and they will increase my budget way over 100 million. Defenders from Manchester City are not going to be popular this game week, for Arsenal and Chelsea as well. Manchester United are not very good defensively. Brentford are a little bit shaky defensively right now. Maybe if Ben Mee returns, he will be an option, but for now, Burn Trippier consists the clean sheet possibility for Newcastle against Crystal Palace, and Udogie, the ever-present left back for Spurs, is going to be there for a home fixture to Fulham. Fulham are not very good offensively. They're keeping some clean sheets, Fulham, but I don't believe that they're scoring a lot of goals, especially against Spurs, especially at home. I believe Spurs will be more and more diligent when they are in the first place, and they will try to improve defensively, and Udogie will get the clean sheet, and most probably he will get an attacking return. So those 3 players are for me the best defenders if I'm going for one-off team for 1 game week. So yeah, Burn, Trippier and Udogie, cheap, reliable, and very good options. Trippier is not so cheap anymore, and he wasn't since the start of the year, let's be honest, but that price is very much justified. Much cash is an obvious submission here, but he is having a home fixture against West Ham. West Ham scored 2 past Newcastle, so I believe that they can score past Aston Villa. And if I had to choose one of for a weak team, I am not going for an Aston Villa defender, but Burn, Trippier and Udogie, as already mentioned, the best possible, in my opinion, to go for game week 9. In midfield, I'm going for players from very different plethora of teams. I'm going for the highly ranked Liverpool and Spurs, and a little bit lower Wolverhampton and Brentford. Hear me out. As already mentioned, for Spurs, they have a home fixture against Fulham. Fulham may keep several clean sheets so far, but their expected goals is in the mud, and I believe that Spurs will score more than 1 goal. They scored only 1 goal against Luton, and I believe that was the most lucky thing that Luton could have gone away from, especially before the red card for Bissouma. I believe a double from Spurs is a too much, but owning Madison, set piece taker, he's like a talismanic player. I know Son is in the team, but with Solomon and Brennan Johnson out of the side, I believe Richarlison will be playing, and Richarlison will be deployed up top, so Son can be drifting on the wing, and it will be not as effective as when he's in the striker's position. So I am believing in Madison to bring the most points from that Spurs side. Next up is Salah. Salah is having one of the greatest starts of the season. Let's be honest, he has been involved in almost any game so far. He only missed the game against Spurs to make a return for Liverpool, and the home fixture to Everton seems to be tricky. But it's Mohamed Salah, it's Liverpool, and I believe that he can get an auto assist here or a hot goal there. So yeah, Salah against Everton for sure is coming into the side for a home fixture against most probably team fighting for relegation. Neto is one of the surprises of the season. Last season, he was determined to be the best enabler, and he was a flop. This season, he is flying under the radar, as such as the Wolves, and they're okay. They are making some good results. He's banging some returns for the attacking returns. So yeah, I believe that a away fixture to Bournemouth is a good way for Wolves to rack up some more points and Neto to rack up some more points for himself. He is a very good enabler. The other enabler here is Gordon, but I don't have space for another Newcastle player. And Wolves are having a okay fixture, even though it's away. I believe Neto, if Bournemouth try to establish some control, he can get them on the counter attack. He's their main source of goals, so I believe that Neto is going to score a lot of points in game week 9. That's why he is in the team. And the last guy here is Mbumo. I know he has been flopping for a lot of time this season after the first international break, but I believe that after the second, he will be the guy that was before the first, and he will start banging the goals once again because they need his goals because they're struggling. They've lost 3 in a row, which is a lot, and I believe that Mbumo will need to step up, and I believe that he will. And the home fixture against Burnley, they may concede some goals, but I believe that they will score more. And Mbumo, if they receive a penalty, he will take it. He's ever present in the box. He's ever present on the field for the whole duration of the game. He has never been subbed off this season. He's taking some set pieces or an assist probability is there. He has been sold by a lot of managers, so it's a good omen for me when someone is sold a lot, because when he is sold, I know that he will be starting to return points once again, and I would like to get those points. If I were you, I will be picking him as well. Manchester United players here, an obvious submission. I just don't believe that their midfielders are going to be as strong as they were meant to be, and they are a lot more expensive than the guys here apart from Salah, and there is no reason for me to pick them. Chelsea and Arsenal have a game against each other, so the midfielders are not the best options for this game week. City and Brighton play as well, and their midfielders are not very good options. Maybe I'm missing a Villa player here because at home they are a different breed, but West Ham have been pretty solid defensively, and even though Villa are scoring goals for fun, I don't believe that they will be scoring a lot goes past West Ham and Ariola, so that's why I'm not picking Diaby here. I'm not picking Bowen because Aston Villa may concede a goal, but yeah, I believe that those 4 players are having way easier fixtures than the 3 that I already mentioned. The other teams are just not very exciting for me, and that's the guys that I'm picking if I were you, and being game by game week playing the game a little bit of that play style, maybe a league where the hits doesn't count. I don't know, whatever, or you can pick a transfer target for here. It's a pretty spicy midfield. I will not see a lot of midfields looking like that, but I believe that with those players you can get a lot of points. In previous game weeks, my best team has been doing very well, and if I was picking my best team for the week every week, I would have been a lot higher if there weren't any hits. But what can you do? You cannot take hits and be high in the rankings right now because every point is counting a lot, especially at the start. And if you are playing a different game, pick those 4 players, the 4 players in defense as well. But now let's go and see the forward line because there are some pretty interesting picks, and there is even a high contention of captains options there. We will talk about that, but now let's jump and see them. In attack, I'm opting for players that you may not have seen yet being popular. I will be starting with the most popular player, it's Haaland. I believe after they lost a game against Arsenal and drew against... Oh no, they lost 2 in a row. So yeah, they lost 2 in a row. They will need to fight back. Haaland already scored a lot of goals in the international break, and if he remains fit, have in mind that I'm recording this before his last international game. But either way, I believe that Haaland will be a very strong contender of the captain option, especially against Brighton. I know Brighton are a good side offensively, but defensively they have been leaky, and I believe it's time for Haaland to get back to his best form and start destroying teams. The other two players are a little bit of differentials. I've prepared a differential draft for you in a minute. Stay tuned for that. Don't leave the video right now. And after you hear my thoughts about both of them, go and check out the differential team. I have pretty interesting picks there as well. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 600 subscribers before the end of the year. I think it's manageable with your help. For sure, like the video because it helps the algorithm. Write down a comment if you want to discuss something or you want to comment about anything else. I will be most probably doing a deadline stream for Game Week 9, so please be sure to join on that. But now let's focus on Wilson and Højlund. Wilson, I believe Isaac is injured. He pulled away from international duty. That leaves the door open for Wilson. They're having a game against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, and I believe Isaac will be preserved. So Wilson will be taking the starting spot, and home fixture against Crystal Palace for a player of his caliber, I believe, is going to be a field day for him, and he will bang on the goals. Højlund, it's a little bit of a differential. I'm moving away from Rashford and Bruno for sure, because I believe they're taking away so much attacking spots. I don't see a lot of other great attacking options, especially for this game week. Watkins already explained with the same as Diaby. Alvarez is another option, but I want to be a little bit more interesting in my picks and not pick Alvarez and Haaland each game week. Maybe Darwin Núñez is an option, but Jota is back into the side. We have to see how they are going to deploy against Everton. The other options, I just didn't like them right now, and for me, Højlund and Wilson can do some damage against pretty okay opposition. So yeah, I believe that those 11 players will be the best team possible for Game Week 9. For the captain, I am torn between Haaland and Salah, but for now, Haaland takes the notch because City are angry, and when they're angry, they're most dangerous. So yeah, I believe that City will destroy Brighton, and Haaland will take part in a lot of their goals. Here is the promised differential 11. Here I have several rules. First of all, no more than 3 players from a side. Under 100 million is the next rule, and the most important rule is to be under 10%, so don't be surprised if I don't pick obvious players such as Turner against Wootton or Trippier or Haaland or something like that. This is a differential draft, and those players can get you very good points for a very low ownership, and that will be pretty interesting for you. In goal, I'm opting for Flecken. He was ill in game week 8 against United, but I believe after the international break he will be alright and he will get the starting position. I know that Brentford has not been pretty stable in defense, but he was my best goalkeeper's choice in the upcoming fixture that was under 10%, at least in my opinion. That's why I'm picking him a little bit over 3%, nothing too special about his ownership, but yeah, a pretty good goalkeeper for an okay side. So I believe that Flecken is a great option. In defense, I'm opting for a pretty surprising pick. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is under 10%, and that surprised me a lot when I researched for this video. A home fixture against Everton. He's back into the side. He is playing right now for England. I'm recording video before their first game, so he may get injured. If he does, he is not an option, obviously, but for now he is fit, and if he is fit, he will be playing, especially against Everton. I believe clean sheet is banked. He is more determined to play the game because he's a local boy and he knows the rivalry inside and out. So yeah, Trent, a pretty good option. Van den Ven scored already last week. He was in my differential 11 and he was a great option. I believe that he is still the most differential Spurs defender that you can go for. Yeah, he was lucky to score that goal, but it counts as a goal. 3 bonus clean sheet, 15 points from him. It was pretty delightful. Fabian Schär, the cheapest not the cheapest. The most differential way to the Newcastle defense is Shar. Burn is popular, Trippier is popular, but Shar is above 6% but below 10, so he fits the bill perfectly. And Koeman, I know Wolves have not been pretty solid defensively, but they're having an okay fixture in game week 9, an away fixture to Bournemouth. I believe that they can keep a clean sheet, and I want a taste of that. And a player with ownership under 1% is always exciting, so Koeman takes the notch here from their defenders. He was the most popular from their defenders, but they are all under 1%, and he has the most points right now, I believe, but and ain't Nuri and Bueno are injured, so I don't know what the wingback situation will be, but Koeman is as nailed as you get, so you will be getting a nailed starter for under 1% ownership for a very cheap price. In midfield, as you can see, only Neto survives from the best team for game week 9 in the previous section. He's the only one under 10%. The other guys were way over 10%, but Neto is still under 10%. He is growing in popularity. Last week I got him as well. This week he will be involved for sure. Gordon is here as well. He missed the best team just because I needed only 3 players for Newcastle. If I had the options for a fourth, he will be in for sure, but I couldn't add him. He was suspended last game week, and now with fresh powers, he will back into the side and will start tearing up defenders and defenses as he was doing before the suspension. Now he will be refreshed, everything will be good, and under 6% ownership, he will get you skyrocketed in points. Barnes is injured, Isaac is most probably injured, so it's Gordon, Wilson, and Almiron looking like that for the fixture during the weekend. And I have the Wilson pick here as well as I did in the best 11, but I will talk about it in a minute. Richarlison is here. I know it's a surprising pick. He hasn't been pretty great for Spurs so far, but with so many injuries for the guys up front, with Bissouma's suspension, I don't see Richarlison being dropped out of the side. He will be playing most probably the striker's position, and he will be most probably getting some kind of a return, which is okay. And for 2% ownership, he will get you way over the points that Son and Madison will get you, because you know the differential points are very hurtful for players that do not own those specific pairs, and if you own him for a differential pick, he's a pretty great choice. And the last guy here is Elanga. I was surprised to see that Awoni was injured. I didn't know that before. Someone mentioned it in the comment section. Thank you for that. And I saw that he was due to return in November. So Elanga is the best and most nailed starting player. Maybe Morgan Gibbs-White is another option, but I believe that Elanga is doing fine, and he will be starting against Luton. So I believe that he can get a pretty good return against the Luton side that is visiting the Nottingham Forest Stadium. And up front, I'm opting for Wilson and Højlund. They're remaining from my best 11. As you can see, 3 players survived. They're Neto, Wilson, and Højlund. I believe that I picked them because they're a little bit differential, but they're having okay fixtures. I don't see anyone replacing them right now in the starting 11, so it's pretty alright for me to pick them. Haaland and Alvarez are way over 10%, so they are out of contention. Watkins as well. Darwin is getting higher in popularity, but Wilson and Højlund are just, as you can see, they are combined almost below 10%, so that's good. And if you opt for both of them and they return, you will reap the rewards for sure. Write down in the comment section if you have anything to add about my differential, if you have any thoughts about game week 9. I know it's pretty early before the game week 9 starts, but I want to get the content out for you guys so you can have a little bit food for thought and to tinker with your squads. If you are still using the wildcard, you can go and check the video that I made. It's a wildcard guide for game week 9. If you are using the wildcard, you can check them in my channel that's right below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and enjoy the videos that I'm making. Join me on my road to the underdog story that I'm creating, because I'm far back in the overall ranking, but for sure I'll be grinding my way back to the top. Like the video to help me smash that algorithm away, and thank you for the support, as I'm forgetting sometimes to thank you, but I'm always grateful. But for now guys, I'll be heading out. Bye!